Robyn likes to refer to me as Babe Ruth. I'm either going to hit it out of the park or strike out. Sometimes I'm like planning from beginning to end the perfect experience. And other times I'm completely dropping the ball. You know why I struck out in other years?
Why?
Because I was always in the mindset that Valentine's Day was just about our kids and a gathering of the family.
For Valentine's Day, in a plural family, it's a really complicated holiday.
I need to know what Kody said to make the camera crew that petty. Seriously, this edit was brutal in the best way. It starts with a wide shot of him and, presumably, Robyn, then smoothly shifts to the right and finally zooms in tight on Kody's face, like the lens itself was judging him. I tried to upload the 12-second clip. On a serious note, word is, his BFF Tim isn't part of the production team anymore. Better explanation. Talisi is finally figuring out what the audience actually wants. It kind of feels like someone on the editing team has been lurking on and taking notes, because for the last couple of episodes, the shade has been chef's kiss. Case in point, while Kody's rambling about how everyone contributed and accusing Janelle of suddenly acting like, "Oh, I got divorced, so I deserve something," the editors cut directly to Robyn's house. You know, the one Janelle largely paid for. Then Kody, in the next breath, calls Robyn the shopping queen. Peak petty. Absolute perfection. Shout out to the editing team for giving us traitors, level reality TV snark. Also, the lingering shot on Kody's hairline. That was for the fans. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to ThreadoraTalks, where the conversations are always next level. I'm your host, Jenna, and today, we're turning things up a notch. Trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss, so let's dive right in. I've always suspected that part of the family rift boils down to how some of the kids, particularly those who are LGBT, have been quietly pushed aside. What really sealed that suspicion was the church switch. Remember the Commons? That's the church they visited on camera. I looked it up. It's explicitly LGBT inclusive and generally leans progressive. Great optics, right? Except here's the kicker. That's not the church they actually chose. Nope, they ultimately aligned themselves with a church that excludes LGBT folks from leadership. A church that's anything but inclusive. All that talk about finding a church that reflects our values. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about those values. Edit for clarity. They had options. They filmed at the inclusive church to give a warm and fuzzy impression, then quietly picked a church that's, well, not that. And here's the sneaky part. They never clarified that the church you saw wasn't the one they chose. That feels very intentional. Remember when Leon came out? Robyn acted all loving and accepting. Even said Saul's reaction was just a shrug and a puffed. Seemed sweet at the time. But in hindsight, total performance. Not long after, she started pulling her kids out of group events. They didn't even bring the younger ones to Gwen and Bea's wedding. Who skips sending siblings to their own sister's wedding? None of this is shocking, really. Kody, Robyn, and the rest of that crew aren't progressive. They've just doubled down on their specific brand of conservative Christianity. That first church, the inclusive one, it was more of a come as you are, all faiths welcome kind of place. That's not their scene. For them, if the Bible calls something a sin, that's the end of the conversation. They're not interested in a church that says otherwise. Leon was so terrible. And yet, somehow, everyone kept making excuses for their spoiled, bratty behavior, like it was some charming quirk instead of a glaring personality flaw. It's wild. Even after they went off to college, got involved with Audrey, and had all this time and space to grow, they were still insufferable. At that point, the whole, they were just a teenager being filmed, excuse completely falls apart. I'd always thought Leon acted entitled, but on this rewatch, I've crossed the line into full Meri sympathizer territory, especially around the whole B&B situation. Meri finally buys the inn she's dreamed about forever. She's glowing proud, the whole family is rallying behind her, and here comes Leon, raining on the parade with a smug little, well, This is her dream, not mine. Good for her, I guess. Like, what's the point? Why go out of your way to be dismissive of your mom's happiest moment? And this is the same mother who literally went to a gay bar with you, even though she was raised in a deeply conservative, anti-gay religious environment and had never even stepped foot in a bar before. But sure, keep being passive-aggressive. It somehow feels even worse than that time Leon invited Meri to a march that mattered to them, only to later brush off the polygamy march the rest of the family cared about with, "That's not my fight." Selfish. Rude. Classic Leon. Yes, there were probably deeper things going on. Leon was the only child in a massive family, no full siblings, just half-siblings everywhere, which must have made things isolating. And Meri, having just one child, poured all her attention into Leon, who ended up being catered to in ways the other kids weren't. Remember those early episodes? Christine's making toast for 5 kids at 2 a.m. because she's scared of the toaster. Logan's up before dawn, feeding everyone, getting them ready. Meanwhile, Meri and Leon are having this calm, cozy breakfast in their quiet little apartment. It was a completely different life, and the result? A kid who was used to getting their way and threw a fit when they didn't. One of the worst behaved kids on the show, honestly. Like that time, they asked Meri and Janelle to come support their march, and when the family asked for the same in return, "Not my fight." The audacity. It's clear there was some serious resentment from Leon toward Meri. I'm not saying it's justified, especially given how hard Meri tried to support them after they came out, but it makes a twisted kind of sense. Meri was laser-focused on Leon for years, often to the exclusion of everyone else, and she wasn't exactly known for being honest or warm to the rest of the family. If Leon truly loves their siblings, and Christine and Janelle, it must have been agonizing to watch their mom mistreat them constantly. That kind of dynamic creates confusion, guilt, divided loyalties, the emotional equivalent of being pulled in 5 directions at once. Well, there it is, the smoking gun. Suddenly, it all clicks. Robyn, ever the devout LDS believer, casually drops that she wants another sister wife and to stay rooted in the church. How convenient. Now, those of us trained in investigative interviewing, we know how to read between the lines. The body language, the eyes, the subtle cues. And when Robyn starts talking about her deep religious convictions and her dream of plural marriage, it's not just a spiritual confession, it's strategic planting. Another seed for Kody. Let's back up. This wasn't random. From day one, Robyn had a 2-pronged plan. First, she and Kody absolutely had deep chats about his issues with the other wives before their so-called spiritual marriage. And she played it brilliantly. Tears, victimhood, the whole poor me act, tailor-made for Kody and the audience. Second, she took those cracks in the foundation and wedged herself in. Hello, suggestion of Meri divorcing Kody so Robyn could get her kids legally adopted. A masterclass in timing. Third, her bond with Kody, let's call it chemistry meets convenience, gave her the power to slowly drive a wedge between him and the other wives. All while smiling sweetly, crying on cue, and dipping into the shared finances to support her own household. A business move, if nothing else. Fourth, when the dust settled and the other wives packed their bags, who was left? Robyn, the legal wife, the matriarch. And now, she's not just wanting another sister wife, she's making sure she's the first wife. Translation, top dog, the one who gets to pull the strings in any future family structure. Her face said it all. This was always the endgame. She truly believes she's entitled to it, thanks to her devout LDS identity. The others never stood a chance. Kody was too pivoted to see past the vag, and let's be honest, Robyn isn't exactly swooning over Kody anymore. She loves the perks, the house, the title, the authority. But his constant whining, probably wearing thin. A new wife could be a buffer. Robyn's not in this for love, she's in it for control. And control? Oh, she's good at that. She wants sister wives not because she wants sisterhood, but because you can't be the favorite wife unless there are others to be less favored. Plus, why shoulder all the holiday and birthday chaos when someone else can handle it and tolerate her at the same time? But the twist? She has no idea what's coming. A younger wife? That's a whole new ballgame. Robyn's mind? About to be blown. Meri went live on TikTok earlier, and here's the rundown, as best as I can remember. First off, yes, she did go through with the legal divorce. Apparently, Kody couldn't legally adopt Robyn's kids unless he was no longer married to Meri. So Meri took one for the team because love or whatever. Christine specifically asked for the Leahy basement because it had more rooms. Logical choice, really. Meri ended up with the short end of the layout stick, as usual. I've always thought her space was the least desirable, awkward floor plan and all. Meanwhile, Janelle's section looks like the jackpot. I'm half convinced the original polygamists who built the place only had 2 wives. It'd explain a lot. Meri's still hawking Lularo, and no, she hasn't watched the documentary. And don't hold your breath, she says she never will. She also made it crystal clear she won't be doing polygamy again. Shocking, I know. She and Kody used to watch Big Love together, which she described as surreal. None of the other wives would join in, probably because watching a fictionalized version of your chaotic life isn't exactly relaxing. She mentioned wanting to write a book, on her own time, of course. Which, if she's hoping to cash in on that, she might want to get moving. Timing is everything. Koyo Pass? Off limits. Ongoing drama? Nothing she could share. And in a twist of festive cheer, someone gifted her a spiral notebook for Christmas. With a winged rat on the cover that read, "I couldn't give a flying rat's ass." She loved it. Said it'll be her new junk journal. Honestly, same energy. As for the live stream itself, I tried watching, but the host kept interrupting Meri and hijacking the conversation. It got old fast. Oh, and for what it's worth, I do think Meri went through with the divorce in good faith, probably to help Robyn's kids. But I'm with Christine, notes to self 444, and half the internet. Robyn likely planted that seed from day one. Robyn, let me assure you, no one is jealous. Literally no one is upset that you found a new church to marry off your daughters. And no, your problem wasn't that your expectations were too high for your sister wives. You didn't expect too much. You calculated exactly what to expect. You scoped out a vulnerable family, manipulated the man, snagged the legal marriage, drained the finances, and coasted, contributing nothing but chaos. It's honestly astounding how deep your narcissism runs. You've built an entire personality around being the perpetual victim, when in reality you emotionally, financially, and psychologically exploited an entire family. And now, you play innocent to keep whatever scraps of public sympathy are left. It's revolting. The only expectations that were too high were expecting the other wives to be fine with Kody treating them like garbage while you got the lion's share of his attention. You and Kody spun that whole sacred loneliness fairy tale like it was a spiritual honor to be neglected. Please. I lost it when you claimed you had high expectations for them. You twisted every disagreement into a personal attack and played the victim the second things didn't go your way. It's honestly baffling. Do you think people believe this? Or do you just enjoy hearing yourself talk? And yes, I'm so jealous. Jealous I never had a husband who came home reeking of another wife's sex life. Jealous I never got to admire his patchy, part-time ponytail sitting atop his glorious dad bod, complete with belly keg and those too tight budgie smuggler undies. Truly, what a vision, flexing those milk-white, flabby arms in a piss-warm pond. A god among men. Robyn is so blessed to have landed such a majestic stallion. Oh wait, forgot my meds. Be right back. But sarcasm aside, even if Robyn didn't intend for things to unravel like this, she's never once acknowledged how it looks. She came into an already functioning family, locked down the legal marriage, kept her kids separate, dodged group childcare, drained resources with that MSWC nonsense, and isolated herself. She complained about the other wives nonstop, burned the only friendship she ever formed, and now acts confused by the fallout. It's one excuse after another. Enjoy that new church, Robyn. Maybe you'll finally find someone gullible enough to fall for the act. Again, is Gwen just another bully like Peyton? I can't remember exactly where I saw it, some random video, but she was laughing and joking about a fight she once had with one of her brothers. I think it was Gabe, but who knows? She actually admitted to shoving a toothbrush down his throat and thought it was absolutely hilarious. So now I'm wondering, if Gwen pulls stuff like that and doesn't get labeled a bully, what exactly is she accusing Peyton of? Was whatever he did that much worse? Honestly, they both give off strong Kody energy. There were also a few comments floating around about how mean Gwen was to Isabel. In fact, Isabel herself apparently didn't even like Gwen until she moved out, and now, suddenly, they're close. I always thought it was strange how often that was mentioned, like, why keep bringing it up unless there's more to the story? To be blunt, I think all of Christine's kids have some behavioral stuff going on. It's not always super obvious, editing helps, but they seem to get a real kick out of tearing each other down and calling it humor. And sure, they say that's just their dynamic, but honestly, if your jokes mostly involve hurting someone's feelings, maybe it's not comedy, it's cruelty. And speaking of where they might have learned it, Kody seems like the type who tickles past the point of fun, jokingly punches, mocks you for not laughing, calls you a crybaby. Classic gaslight the kid tactics. When that's your model, no one ever teaches you the golden rule. Mean isn't funny, it's just mean. Christine's a little off, Kody's definitely off, and together, they created a crew of kids who are, well, varying shades of off. Just calling it like I see it. Why exactly did Robyn need to tag along to Kody and Meri's divorce? I'm a first-time watcher, but thanks to you brilliant Redditors, I already have a PhD in sister-wives shenanigans, so I knew what was coming. I've finally reached those episodes, where Meri shakily signs the divorce papers and Robyn is in the background, dabbing at non-existent tears like she's auditioning for a soap opera. Honestly, her presence feels completely unnecessary, unless, of course, you consider the real reason she was probably there, to make sure nobody got cold feet. It reeks of behind-the-scenes scheming, like Robyn and Kody decided she should be present just in case Meri started thinking for herself. Robyn has this uncanny ability to insert herself into everything involving the other wives. And why? Because it gives her a front row seat to control the narrative in real time. Can't have Kody making a spontaneous decision without her approval, right? It's much easier to steer the ship when you're already on board, rather than trying to talk him out of something later. And let's be honest, Robyn is phenomenal at benefiting from the sacrifices of others while never offering up anything of her own. It's practically her love language. Kody and Robyn clutching those twins like their lives depended on it. Classic. It's like the babies are emotional security blankets, making them look involved while conveniently avoiding conversation with the rest of the room. Genius, really. Hold a baby, dodge a confrontation. Apparently, this tactic was still going strong at Gwen's wedding reception. They made a beeline for my Kelty's kids, putting on their best hands-on grandparent act, all while keeping the rest of the family at a safe, drama-free distance. Honestly, these twins have seen things. They've been in nearly every painfully awkward moment like tiny, wide-eyed witnesses. At this point, someone should just slap little red vests on them that say emotional support baby. Let's be real, they weren't just holding those babies. They were hiding behind them. Human shields with pacifiers. And the way Kody and Robyn were nervously rocking back and forth gave off more, please don't yell at me, than look how sweet we are. Just pure, buzzing anxiety in motion. All right, now I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. Agree, disagree, or something in between? And if you're enjoying the vibe, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop. Your voice counts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.